Libra, this is your week ahead astrology forecast from Astrology Motivation by Born Without Boundaries. Welcome everybody, my name is Michelle, and in this video we're going to review the major planetary aspects and transits and how they impact your natal sun and what that means for your week. This is for the week of May 9th to the 15th. I take my notes, and that's what I'm always looking at, just so that you know, of 2023. We're going to start really broad, Libra, with the things that are impacting everybody. And then we'll focus more into what all Libras should pay attention to. And then we'll get into those things that you can expect are going to directly impact you and how they're going to play out. And I do that by seeing where the planets are in relationship to your natal sun. Now, I don't necessarily know where your natal sun is. I depend on you too. And you don't have to know exactly where your natal sun is located in Libra. But it does help. So what I will do is I will give you the estimate of dates that this will be impacting. So all you really have to know is your birth date. But the most accurate is going to be get your natal chart. If you don't have it already, they're free. Just search it online, free natal chart, and so many websites do it. All you need is your birth date, which you already have, your birth time and your birth location, and all that can be found on your birth certificate. You plug that information in and it spits it out for you in a matter of seconds. So if your natal sun is located between 0 and 9 degrees Libra, you are a Libra 1. If your natal sun is located between 10 and 19 degrees Libra, you are a Libra 2. And if your natal sun is located between 20 and 29 degrees Libra, you are a Libra 3. This is definitely for sun signs, FYI. That actually matters. So let's start real broad with the big stuff that's going on this week, Libra, shall we? Big stuff, really only two things that are really big. Mercury is going direct at the very end of this week on the 15th. So that will directly impact you guys, especially some of you, because Mercury is in, well, it'll impact all of us. Now, why does it never feel like Mercury is out of retrograde? It's not going to, in other words, you're not going to be able to feel it right away, because even though Mercury post direct, it means it stopped moving in retrograde. It has a stationary period, is what we call it, and it just starts to go forward, but not at its regular speed. And that's basically the end of this week into next week is its stationary period. So it is going to start moving forward next week. Like I said, it goes direct on the 15th, but it's not going to be moving. Mercury usually moves like 7 degrees every week. But this week it'll only move about 3. It's just starting to get that forward momentum again. It's like when you were a kid and you used to whip around the pool, like you used to go around the edges if you could walk around the pool, and you created a current, right? You created the current. Sometimes it gets so strong, you could flow right on it. You could stop walking, it'll just keep going. And then when you stop, right? You played this game. When you stop and you turn around and you try to swim in the other direction, and everybody laughs and it's so funny, but you could feel that you could feel the push, right? Because you've built up this momentum in the other direction. Now it's a push and you're struggling to move forward, but you will get forward again. That's kind of what's happening with Mercury, is it will start moving forward again as of the 15th of this week, but it doesn't really get its full momentum on until the end of next week. Just an FYI. There is also a conjunction between Uranus and the Sun this week, which is quite potent. It is in Taurus at 18 degrees. It'll be in perfect conjunction, but all week long, at 18 degrees, which is, I think, on the 9th, on today. So May 9th is when Uranus and the Sun are in perfect conjunction at 18 degrees Taurus. But all week long, they'll be conjunct, because they'll be within 2 degrees of each other. This means brilliance. This means surprises that we end up liking. This means surprises that are uncovered, especially about our character. This means being rebellious and wanting change and looking forward and wanting to try something different, something exciting, maybe not necessarily boredom, but just almost surprising yourself. Also, aha moments or major tech breakthroughs. So this will be interesting to watch on a global perspective. active. And then, of course, we also still have, and we will for a while, the square between Jupiter and Pluto, and this is going to impact a certain group of Libras very, very intimately. So until basically, I think June 15th, Jupiter is square to Pluto, and Mars is in opposition to Pluto for the next 2.5 weeks. So it kind of forms this triangle in the sky between Jupiter square Pluto, Mars square Jupiter, Pluto in opposition to Mars. And it just means intensity for all of us. It's like we can't move quick enough, and yet Mercury is just coming out of retrograde. And listen, if you look at the chart, you'll see Jupiter, and then you'll see square to Pluto, and then you'll see Jupiter, and you see square to Mars, and you see Pluto and Mars in opposition to each other. So it's like this triangle, right? Right? But there's something on the other side, and you know what that is? That's one of your natal suns. That's a group of Libras, natal suns that are in direct opposition to where Jupiter is. So it's actually when you put your natal suns into the equation, forming a grand cross, which is a very fixed, stuck energy. Like, I want to move forward, but I can't move forward, and it could be very, very frustrating and agitating, especially for the next 2.5 weeks when Mars is involved. So just an FYI, and we'll get into that. Let's look at what all Libras should know, which is, where is Venus? So where is Venus this week? She is in Cancer. She is actually very happy and jolly in Cancer. Venus will move between 2 and 8 degrees Cancer. And while she's in Cancer, she is sextile to Mercury, which is in retrograde right now. She is trine to Saturn, and she is semi-square to the Sun. All in all, especially since Venus is in Cancer, this could be, with the sextile to Mercury retrograde, putting her in a position of rose-colored glasses when it comes to somebody from the past. And Mercury retrograde brings up those exes, and it also brings up those, like, oh, we're seeing something so in a positive way that maybe we shouldn't see so positively. That's all I'm saying. Just be aware of that, especially with this trine to Saturn. She wants to stay the same. She wants something to be long term. She wants something to last, to the point where she might take an opportunity where she shouldn't, since Mercury is in retrograde. FYI. So let's get into the decans. So a decan is a group of 10 degrees, and every zodiac sign has a total of 30 degrees, which means it has 3 decans. So if your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Libra, you are a decan 1 or a Libra 1. If your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees, you are Libra 2. And if your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees, you are Libra 3. The reason we do this as astrologers is because the 10-degree difference is really the difference between what is impacting somebody and what isn't, what you can feel and what you can't feel within 10 degrees. And once it gets further than 10 degrees, you start to form different relationships with things. So you can imagine that those born in the beginning of Libra season are having a completely different experience with a planet they're interacting with, their suns are interacting with, than the ones at the end, because they have a completely different angle. And basically, astrology is angles. It is angles in the sky that create relationships or aspects between planets, and that's what we call them, aspects, but they're angles, and that's how we measure them. So it really does matter where your natal suns are. So Libra ones, and this is Libras who are born pretty much in September. I would say from like September 22nd through the 30th is definitely Libra ones. You are certainly Virgo cuspers. Your natal suns are forming a square to Venus. So there could be some dissonance here when it comes to looks, how you feel about your looks, how you feel about your self-worth, or money, finances, spending too much, how much have you spent it, all of those things. Like, that's something that you want to be aware of just this week, because it's not a good time to buy new clothes. You won't end up liking them. You might spend too much money on them, but you won't end up liking them overall. It's not a good time to do your hair or make any permanent changes to your styles or your aesthetics, because it won't work out well for you. It may not look bad to anybody else, but ultimately you won't really be happy. It's not a great time for you guys to make any big ticket purchases. No cars, no houses, nothing like that. And watch your pocketbooks. This is just when the sun is square to Venus. Be aware of these things. And of course, there could be some challenges that arise when it comes to your romantic relationships, all based around, especially since Venus is in Cancer, stuff that happened in the past or feelings for somebody that you still have. And with Venus sextile to Mercury retrograde, it could be some interaction with the ex anyway. So just an FYI. And then we have your natal sun's sextile to Mars, which means they will be hardwired to move forward, jump at something, jump at the bit, I don't say impulsive. A sextile is good. It just, there's a lot of vitality here and there's a lot of sexuality here. So this could set you up for acting way too confident in a situation where you really shouldn't be. So you're going to need a lot of restraint this week, Libra. You are in a quincunx or a frustrating angle, like a 150-degree angle to Mercury, which is retrograde, which means it can bring up a lot of frustrating stuff and be what is causing issues or causing problems for you. Even just with technology or communication, you're going to feel the Mercury retrograde a little bit more than everybody else. Your natal suns, only if you're a cusp, only if you're on the Virgo cusp, your natal suns are in a long-term transit to Neptune. They're in an opposition, which is a long-term aspect to Neptune, which means that you could also get lost in la la land and be easily fooled by things. So it is definitely like, I know you want something, but because that's the sun sextile Mars, I know you desire it. I know you want to go after it. Definitely take a breath and count 10 beats before you make any, especially major decisions this week. And then you're also trine to Pluto, which means this is long term. The trine to Pluto will last years for your natal suns. So ultimately, you are going to change. This is hardwired into who you are. You are going through changes right now, which could be why you're acting so impulsive now during Mercury retrograde, because it scares you more. It drums up more for you to worry about. But trust me when I say this is your metamorphosis period over the next couple of years. God is guiding you. Trust that process. You don't have to push, because Pluto is making sure that things even themselves out and balance themselves out, and that you are able to emerge from your cocoon in a healthy fashion. This is just a tough week because of Mercury retrograde and that square to Venus. Just an FYI. So Libra 2s, and those of you Libra 2s, usually, and this is an estimate, I would say from the 30th of September through maybe the 9th of October. So the first, say, 10 days of the month of October, that's a pretty good estimate. In and around there, if that's where your birthday is. Just an FYI. Definitely to the 9th. I'm not really sure about the 10th though, but you'll still feel this if you were born on the 10th. There's a lot of contention here with you guys because I told you, we talked about the sun conjunct Uranus, but it's quincunx to your natal suns. So that means there's a lot of surprises that are coming up, or ways that you may freaking shock yourself when it comes to what you want, what you're capable of, or things that there's a lot of dissonance there, especially with technology. Watch out for that too. There could be just, I don't know, unfriendly things that pop up when it comes to technology. I just don't think that you'll be completely satisfied this week. You just may have a feeling of not being satisfied. And even though that quincunx to Uranus is long term, the conjunction between Uranus and the sun, the current sun, is not. And that's why this energy is being exacerbated. You know, it feels like it's more intense. I want this even more now. For this week, the sun is going to be conjunct Uranus, so it'll make that quincunx energy more more intense and bring everything to light. It almost may feel like you're the only one being left behind, or you're the only one where life isn't changing. And that's just not true. The change will come to you when it's supposed to. This is just going to kind of make you feel like jumpy under the skin. And then long-term aspect is you guys are in opposition to Chiron. So this is a tough position. I'm not going to bullshit you. This has been going on for a while though, and nothing is conjuncting Chiron now. So it's easing out a little bit. But ultimately, since Chiron is 18 degrees Aries, so especially with your physicality, injuries coming up, just never leaving you alone, always feeling like there's another ache or pain or issue, or just constantly, and that bringing up a lot of crap from the past, or maybe even stuff that hurts you and makes you sad, right? If you are born more toward the end of a Libra 2, so that's more, I would say the 10th, the 10th or the 11th, you guys would be picking up. You guys are probably in the clear at this point, since Chiron is at the lower end, not lower end, the Chiron is almost through transiting the second decan of Aries, because it's at 18 degrees Aries. So once it hits 20 degrees Aries, it's going to start transiting into the third decan. So this, for you, I'm sorry. So for you guys, I'm sorry. I'm so mixed up, and this is Mercury retrograde, and it has been really, really hard for me because it's just like I don't have my own brain anymore. Mercury is retrograding square to my natal Mercury, and it's just been a shit show for me. I'm just letting you know, in terms of speaking, talking, thinking, it's just been crazy. So I apologize. Everything is twisted around up here. It's those of you who were born at the very beginning of the second decan, so say October 1st, right? October 1st or 2nd. You guys aren't going to be feeling this so much anymore because it's already farther out, or it's already kind of passing you guys by. It's already more than 5 degrees away from you. So you're kind of maybe catching the tail end of it, whereas those of you who are born closer to the 8th, 9th, and 10th, it's intensifying for you guys now. So there just could be a lot of hurt, a lot of suffering, a lot of questioning your self-worth. Am I good enough? With Chiron opposite the sun, this could happen. Questioning, do people care? All of those things coming up, and that will last a couple of years. That's just an FYI for you guys. That's kind of long term. But without something really exacerbating that, or by conjuncting Chiron, it's not going to, or conjuncting your natal sun, it's going to be something that you kind of get used to for a while until it passes. So I just wanted to explain that to you. I had to go through that. This week, everything might seem a little bit more frustrating because the sun conjunct Uranus is quincunx to your natal sun. Long story short. Short story long. And then Libra 3s. So Libra 3s, this is definitely Scorpio cusps, basically from the 11th through the 21st of October. Your natal suns are in the hot spot because your natal suns are opposite Jupiter. Your natal suns are the ones forming that grand cross in the sky. So Jupiter's here, your natal suns are over here with 5 degrees on either side, right? And then you guys are square to Pluto and square to Mars. And that square to Pluto will last for years. But this opposition to Jupiter won't. Jupiter, by by June 15th will move on and won't be opposite your natal suns anymore, and that's good. And Mars in a couple of weeks, just like 2 weeks, will not be square to your natal suns anymore. But for the next 2 weeks, you guys are in the hot spot, and this is just like angry energy almost, because you don't feel like anything is happening quick enough, or you feel like every move you make to try to expand or grow your life, there's some shit that happens to get in your way, and it's playing on you, because Pluto does this to people. It's trying to tempt you to fuck up, to get ruthless and mean and do whatever it fucking takes. Don't go there. Be relentless. Don't give up, especially for the next 2 weeks. Whatever, just keep going. Be relentless. Don't let anything make you afraid, but also don't let anything make you so desperate that you forget your morals and your ethics. FYI, it's very important for you guys right now. Extremely important. Let me know in the comments below how you are experiencing all of this energy, Libra. Definitely, before you click off, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to help us grow here on Astrology Motivation. And come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot, where I do a week ahead tarot card reading for you guys. I can't wait to see you there. I love you, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye, Libra.